Over 2,000 people took part in an interactive treasure hunt that I secretly hid in my last video. The winner would win a $500 box of mystery magic effects from Murphy's Magic Supplies. Only 4% of people that tried completed the treasure hunt. In this video, I'm going to announce the winner and explain to you all of the correct answers needed to complete the challenge. It's time for all to be revealed. Are you one of those 96 people? Only 4% of people who watched my last video were able to complete the treasure hunt and get to the end in order to give themselves a chance of winning this Murphy's Magic mystery box worth over $500. Over the past few days, there have been 50 to give away through Murphy's Magic. I have one of those 50 that's going to one of the people on that list that managed to complete the treasure hunt. But before I pick a winner in this video, I should probably explain to the other 94% of you out there what the 3 correct answers were, and more importantly, how you should have put them together in order to get you to the end of the treasure hunt. So without any further ado, let's dive straight into it, pick the winner, explain the treasure hunt, and also I'll be telling you who the winner of the Patreon contest is that wins a free copy of Easy Tones that was given to me by the creator himself, Rich Relish. Let's dive into it. Alright, first things first, I opened the last video with this riddle. I can be as sharp as a sword, yet gentle like the breeze. I can travel the world without moving an inch. I can build up or destroy, but I can never be touched. What am I? And I didn't just give you the riddle because I thought there could be a few different answers. And since the riddle wasn't Googleable because I created it, I figured I needed to give you guys a hint. So if you watched really closely just after the riddle, you would have seen this hint appear on screen. What am I? What am I? That hint was to give you 2 things. A, the amount of letters in the answer, and B, one of the letters within that answer. So you could almost be 100% certain you had the correct answer once you arrived there. And that correct answer was words. So round of applause to all of you that got the riddle correct. There are a few answers that may have felt like they could have fit in place, but that hint would have absolutely guaranteed you knew when you had the correct answer. The second question that was within the video wasn't specifically a question because the third sort of clue / question wasn't a question either. It was more of an odd moment in the video that if you paid close attention, you would have realized was one of the next parts of the treasure hunt. And it was the moment where I counted or said aloud how many decks I had. Ha, that's interesting. I just counted how many decks of cards are on my shelf right there, and there are 141 decks. If I took the 3 decks out of here, I'd have 144, which is an obscene amount of decks. I wonder if there's another word for that. A lot of people don't tend to know this about the number 144, especially in terms of decks of cards. Mainly people that deal with printing, shipping back and forth large amounts of cards will be really aware of this. But another name for a deck of cards, or 144 decks of cards, is a gross of cards. So I know this purely because I've printed my own decks of playing cards in the past. But however, I know a lot of people out there just aren't familiar with it. It's one of those sort of olden terms that just tends to be left to the wayside because there's hardly ever a use for it in like common language. But I didn't want to leave people completely in the lurch, so I thought, I wonder what's another way in which I could clue you in to that word being an answer. So I said that's an obscene amount of cards. What's another word for obscene? And it obviously is, I had to sort of think on the spot as I was filming, and another word for obscene could be gross. So I knew by putting that extra clue for obscene, people will probably use thesaurus or start to look at what's a name for 144 decks of cards, or another way to say 144, when they see the word gross, and then clue into obscene being another word that can be used in place of gross in certain times, they will be absolutely certain they got the correct answer. And many of you did as well, very, very quickly too. And the final part of the clues, or the answers that you needed to put together, came in at 5 minutes and 6 seconds. Now this perplexed a lot of you because up until that moment in time, everything else had been verbal or audible. And this element to the treasure hunt was a visual element, and it was just a brief flash for about half a second on screen, a set of numbers, zeros and ones. My questions, because I don't want to give this away. See you in the next video. Many of you will recognize these, many of you won't recognize these. If you have any experience with coding, tech, or electronics, you'll have recognized them, or even code breaking in the past, you'll recognize them as binary numbers, ons and offs, zeros and ones. And if you took those numbers into a binary translator or generator, but use the translate feature, then that would give you the word cage, which is kind of ironic when it comes to the magician at hand. So now you have three answers. You have words, you have gross, and you have cage. And I told you these words put together would give you a location. And a lot of you thought the three words would be one word cut up. For example, I don't know, like California, California, but that wasn't the case. Three words put together would give you a location. Now, many of you out there already are familiar with this software or this website that's out there. Many of you are not. Many of you just had to Google, how do three random words give me a location? But to put any of you at your misery that couldn't get further past this part of the treasure hunt, which was a lot of you, there's a website called What 3 Words. And they give you a 1 meter square location of every inch of the globe. So wherever you are in the world, and it's supposed to be, or I've always thought it was advertised as, if you got injured in a certain location, you could say, what's my location in this website? It'll tell you the 3 exact words, and it's more accurate than Google Maps or anything else. So you could send that to a search and rescue team, and they would be able to tell you exactly where you are to within a meter square. So you put those 3 words into the website what3words.com, and it takes you to a random graveyard somewhere in the world, and it happens to be in New York. And that graveyard in New York is called Macpila Graveyard. Now, before I go any further, in the contest I said once you had found the famous magician's name that was associated with that location, you'd have to go to lloyd.tv/that magician's name. I was thinking, and I wasn't incorrect, because some of you did guess this, that a lot of you would guess the magician that was going to be associated with whatever the location because of the time of year, the spooktacular event. But what I wasn't expecting was so many of you to get stuck once they'd found the location, because a simple Google search as to relevant names in that location would pop up exactly the answer you were looking for. But for some reason, some people got to that location and just said, I have no idea. Maybe because the name of the graveyard is Macpila and not a magician's name directly. So you kind of get stuck there. And I possibly would have myself. But since I created the treasure hunt, it was, it's much easier to see the answers knowing them beforehand. So totally get it. But if you'd searched Macpila Graveyard, you would have found that amongst the many people that are buried there, so is Harry Houdini. And the reason I picked Houdini is because Houdini ironically died on Halloween, October the 31st. So now with that information, all you need to do is go to lloyd.tv, punch in Houdini, and it will take you to a password protected page. A few people immediately, when I posted the video and I said there's a hidden page on the site with the magician's name, they just scraped the index pages of the site and they found lloyd.tv/Houdini. So the password protection for the site was the 3 words together, as I mentioned in the pinned comment, the 3 words together from the clues in the video with no punctuation or spaces. And that was purely to stop people scraping the site and just finding that page and entering straight away. You had to legitimately have completed the treasure hunt to be able to access the page. So once you get there, you punch in all one word, no capital letters, lowercase, no punctuation, words, gross, cage. Boom, straight in, and then it'll take you to the page where it says congratulations. You punch in your email address, and from the just under 2,400 people that watched that video over the last 2 days, 96 of you were able to complete the treasure hunt. Okay, so to pick a winner for the contest, okay, all the entries here, I'm trying not to dox anyone by name and email. I'm just gonna scroll. Whoever's name is at the top of the screen right now is gonna be the winner. So I'm gonna read out, and the winner is Joseph Westbury. All right, so Joseph, I have your email. Congratulations, you've won the treasure hunt. You're only one of 4% of people that managed to successfully do it, and you are the winner. I'm going to email you so that no one else can impersonate you. Congratulations, you have won yourself the Murphy's Magic mystery box worth $500. You're in for such a treat when you open it. It's jam-packed full of goodies. And a massive congratulations to all of you for taking part in the treasure hunt. I hope you all had fun. It seems like you did. If you want me to do more videos like this, then let me know. Maybe I could do some in the middle of some tutorials so that you can watch the tutorials and have some fun trying to complete a treasure hunt each week. Personally, I had an absolute blast doing this treasure hunt. I love doing these things. As some of you know, I've built treasure hunts into decks of cards. So the Moonshine Vintage Elixirs has a crazy difficult treasure hunt built into them, but it's loads of fun. So if you want me to do more things like this, I'd be more than happy to. I love doing it. It seems like you guys had a lot of fun, and I just thank you all for taking part. Now, the winner of the Easy Tones contest over on my Patreon, patreon.com/LloydB. I'm going to do it exactly the same way. I'm going to open up all the comments on Patreon. These are all the entries from Patreon, all the members that have entered into the contest to win Easy Tones. I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to scroll up and down a couple of times, and I don't have to worry about doxing people because it's just the name here. Whoever's name is on the top of the screen when it stops scrolling now is the winner. Let's take a look. The winner is, you guys can probably see before me, T. Barnhill. Congratulations, T. Barnhill. You have won Easy Tones. I will be messaging you on my Patreon to win this free copy of Easy Tones. Remember, if you're not a member of Patreon already, there's some amazing things over there that I think that will interest all of you. I have a Coin Vanish masterclass, a creativity masterclass where I create a Tournament Restore card on like an entirely long video uncut from scratch. I have the ACAN, which is going to be linked at the end of the video, which gives you like an almost holy grail version of the ACAN completely hands-off. That plus 40 other exclusive Patreon-only tutorials and contests that I run over there, as well as a bunch of other things. There's something for everyone, and if you want to get the good stuff, which I never share on YouTube, that's the place that I post it. But for now, congratulations again to T. Barnhill. I'll be messaging you to ask you what your address is so I can ship this out directly to you. And that's it for this video, folks. I had such a blast doing the treasure hunt. It seems like you all did too. Thank you all for taking part. Thank you to everybody that watched the video. Thank you to all my Patreon members that took part in the Easy Tones contest. I'll be back next time with another tutorial over here on YouTube. Until then, folks, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.